Are you going to meet another section?
Yeah, me, I'm Charlotte.
Okay.
Good morning, and of course it's that time of the day for us here on Smart Means Business. It's time for Sight in the business industry. Of course, right now we are going to be talking about the construction industry in leveraging with the growing real estate. Of course, I have a guest with me here. He's called Dr. Francis Sally, and of course he'll be giving us more insight on how you can look into real estate, how you can get more money from it, how it's helping the country economically to develop, and in so many other ways. Good morning, Dr. Francis.
Good morning, Charlotte.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
Say hello to the viewers and introduce yourself.
Hello, viewers. My name is Dr. Francis Sally Paira. Obviously, I hold a PhD in construction management sciences, still masters in construction management, masters in business administration, and a bachelor's in quantity surveying.
Is there a title that goes for someone who has done more than doctor? Like they should be more than doctor. They should put a new title.
I think the biggest is professor.
Yes.
But that comes in after teaching at the university for some time.
Yeah.
And publishing a number of books. Perhaps, who knows, we can get there.
So, well, when we look at what we're actually looking at, the real estate business in Uganda is quite growing so fast, and we see in so many ways, many of the Ugandans are opting to be landlords than be tenants. So how is the real estate coming in economically for the country, and how is it helping?
The real estate industry is a booming industry in Uganda, not only in Uganda, in East Africa, Africa, and worldwide. There is a constant demand of construction all throughout, and this demand is leveraged obviously with finances. You cannot build a home or you can't build an apartment without money. So the first thing you have to put into consideration is the money. Do you have the money to construct? Okay, the industry is booming, yes, but can you join? How easily can you join? What hindrances are there that can prevent you from joining the industry? Yes, it's booming, but it has also some factors which are going to hinder you from entering. We have so many sources of finance. If you want to enter the industry, some people normally use personal savings. Some others can borrow money from the bank. That is getting capital from the bank. There is a cost of capital that you have to pay after some time. And that cost of capital is obviously not little, because construction itself is a venture that requires a lot of money. It's a big investment you have to do. And besides having a big investment, people might prefer to do other things. A youth is going to tell you, I want to buy a nice car. I want to marry a wife.
Instead of putting up a building.
Instead of putting up a building. Another is going to tell you, if it's a Muslim, is going to tell you, I need a second wife. Yeah? So there are so many factors that can hinder you to go into construction. But construction is good. You keep in your money. I think most investments, one of the most investments that keep your money well is the construction industry, real estate. You buy your land, within 5 years, the value has increased at a reasonable percentage. Also depending on the amount of money you put in.
Yeah, speaking of land, let me cut you short from there.
Okay.
Most people complain that when you purchase land or when you purchase property, it is very easy to buy it, but resale value usually takes long to get to what they want it to be. What causes that here in Uganda?
Now the problem is people who have little money, like 3 million, I would say it's little because we expect land to be expensive.
Yes, we do.
So you buy a land of 3 million because you had so and so bought another piece of land at 3 million. That land is going to be bought from a remote area, which does not have enough market.
Yeah.
So you're going to buy land, let's say, maybe 100 kilometers away from Kampala, and it's deep inside because of the cost. So that land is going to be hard to resell Why? First of all, you think you bought the land and you've heard that land appreciates. You'd want to sell that land at, let's say, maybe 50% interest. That's around 4.5 million.
Yes.
So if you want to buy land, you want to sell land at 4.5 million, within 1 year, it will not be possible, like what people think. Because people are going to tell you in Kampala here that I bought land at 100 million. The next day, you can resell that land at 150 million.
Yes.
The next day.
Just a day. Yes.
Yes, so if you hear such stories and you also want to go and buy and resell the next day at a profit of 50% or something of the kind, it might be quite difficult. There are some factors that normally affect the resale value of land and how fast you're going to sell that land. For example, the urgency of sale. You might find a client wants to sell his land, but then the land has issues. Maybe not only issues, but maybe the seller wants to get quick cash.
Yes.
He's going to sell his property at any fee. Perhaps, yes, Kagwirao. Perhaps he got the land through inheritance from the parents. He knows the value of the area, but he loses nothing by selling a piece of land, let's say in Chanja, at 100 million, and then the buyer the next day sells it at 150. Maybe because even he has the ready market for that land. So the appreciation is going to be higher depending on factors which are not constant. They keep changing. You might buy the same land of 100 and you still fail to get a buyer who's going to buy it at that amount of money even. But you want to say the next day and it's even less. Someone's going to give you 90 million. Are you going to refuse? You want quick money. So that affects a lot.
So speaking of land in remote areas and in town, the difference in the prices. So for someone out there who is watching you right now, would you advise them to mostly have their homes constructed in town, or should they think more of the remote areas? Where is Uganda developing more right now?
I saw a picture recently on social media showing us Nigeria. Nigeria in, I think, was 1995. Nigeria was a village.
Yes, it was.
It was a village. In 1995, most people who are watching, I think, were born, if not all, I don't know. So you could ask yourself, if I went to Nigeria, would I buy there? You would say no. It was too remote, no services, no electricity, but just a footpath going through to go where you have to go. So a wise person would have gone there and bought acres of land. Actually, some people bought them.
Yes.
Acres of land. If you buy like 100 acres of land, or even 50, at 2.5 million, you're going to, and keep that land. God willing, also stay alive. You can sell it at a higher price in the near future. People who bought land in Wakiso back in the days are now enjoying, because Wakiso is very expensive. Before there was no road going to Wakiso and so on to that other area of forgetting the area, but yes, that side.
You continue.
Yes. So now people are enjoying. Getting a plot of land is very hard.
But 3 million to 5 years back from now, 3 million was some money. But now today you cannot tell someone I'm buying land at 3 million and they actually value it.
Yeah, actually, the land is there for 3 million.
Yes,
I've seen so many marketeers. Yes, in villages. If you're kind of a patient person who would love to buy land and keep, we have investment clubs. I'll give an example of Basques. I joined Basques as an investment club some time back. We've bought land in those areas, the remote areas. You can buy an acre at around 7 million. We buy in areas where you expect to have expansion. A neighbor can sell to you, people in the village can easily sell to you, and you expand your limits. You make your land become bigger and bigger and bigger day on, day out. So in the future, you're going to have an empire where you can put a school, or you can sell the entire piece of land I've seen also people selling land like maybe 10 acres at once. They don't want you to buy 1 acre, but they want you to buy the entire thing at once. So the 3 million back in the days was not a lot of money. But the same thing, 7 million now is money. But with time, in the coming maybe 10 years, it won't be a lot of money.
Yes, it won't.
Yes, it won't be. Like I was giving an example I used to teach students in my class of quantity surveying, and I used to tell them that you're being born at an unfair duration or period.
Time, yes.
Yes, it's unfair time that you cannot easily get cheap land around. So I think people who are younger now have to buy land. They're the ones who are pushing away from the city center. Because a person who has just graduated from an engineering school is going to have some money, but it will be hard for him to acquire all the money to buy land, which is close to the city. So they have to extend. So these are the ones who are now extending into the suburbs. After Wakiso, we have Kachiri, then the side of Gayaza, Manyangwa, because of money issues.
Yeah.
And you know money is not an easy thing, unless you get a loan.
Yeah,
yes.
it's not.
Yes.
But with the rising construction, like the processes we're having right now in Uganda, we have a high demand for commercial buildings, good buildings that are actually not going to collapse within a day or two. We've had many cases here in Uganda where they put up a building and within a month or two the building is down. And you find that the architectures we have right now, they would say, you know, the person didn't want to put in a lot, so we had to find a way. And you find also the KCC themselves, when they do the inspection, they're actually given a tip to keep quiet about it. So how are the architectures actually working with this to make sure the buildings don't collapse anymore?
Now, starting with a tip, I won't say enough about that, but maybe it happens. So as architects are supposed to be professional people. In school, they are taught what we call professional ethics. They are supposed to practice in terms of creating value for the client. So if you brought in as an architect, you construct, you design, you put a design on paper for the client who is going to pay you money, a given percentage on that building. And then in the short run, you go to KCC for verification and approvals. Realize that because in architecture, when you're designing, there are limitations. For example, they will tell you maybe you have to have 2 meters away from the boundary of the building. You should have minimum number of parkings. In case an apartment, you don't just design based on what the client wants, but you design based on the occupants of the apartment.
And the biggest number of buildings we have in Kampala don't have parking. And
Yeah.
this is the biggest issue we are facing.
It's a very big challenge actually, but the problem is based on the space which is available. So in Kampala, you know, a plot of land, first of all, is expensive, and secondly, there's not enough space.
Yes.
And this is a CBD, it's the Central Business District, whereby all businesses have to rotate around. But what I know, normally KCCA recommends to have at least parkings on each and every building, whether there's space or no. These days we have designs where you have parking underground. You have basement 1, basement 2, ground floor, acting as parking for the entire users. So out here you might look at a building and you think it has no parking, but it has parking down there. And obviously, like we said, at times people don't follow the law. There are requirements which are being set for you to construct.
But they find a way to go around.
Yes, they find a way to go around it, and you find the building has not enough parking, but it's operational anyway. So that is the issue.
Maybe usually they don't put the parking because they would have to invest more than they had actually planned for to put up this building.
Like I said earlier, construction is expensive.
Yes, it is.
And the Baganda was saying, by the time we decide to put up a building, you should be ready for all consequences. before constructing a building and getting plans and being approved in Kampala was cheap, but these days no longer cheap. At times you could be charged a lot of money for plans. You go to a client. Myself, I work in an architecture firm, so at times we go to clients for design, and then you find that the cost of approvals is actually more than the cost of the design. So the client is left perplexed. He's saying, how can you design at this cost and I approve at a more cost? So I think that one comes in with the regulations and then trying to enforce them, and then that's how even some people try to evade, but I'd advise them to go the legal way. Yeah, try to have proper buildings which will not collapse in the future.
Okay, so how is the marketing of the real estate? Because earlier on you told me that real estate right now has a lot of money. So the people in real estate right now, are they making as much money as they did 5 years back? Because 5 years and 10 years ago, real estate had a lot of money. And right now, you know, we are evolving, we are moving to better construction, better buildings. So is it how it used to be, or it's getting worse?
Now, with the rising technology in buildings and green compliancy of buildings, sustainability, it makes construction quite expensive, because those days it was hard to find a building of 3 levels having a lift. But these days you find buildings of 2 levels, up and down, having a lift. There's an example of a building at Acacia Mall that we worked on. It has a lift for the cars. For the cars. Cars are hoisted up based on the tenants. So if your apartment is up there, you have to go, the lift goes up with your car.
So Uganda is evolving.
So it's evolving in terms of technology, but making construction quite expensive. Even the rise of land, the prices of land are becoming so extraordinary. Yes, so constructing is becoming expensive. And then when after constructing, for example, for real estate, you construct maybe to sell, you want to construct for, let's say, yes, it makes the resale value to become so high. First of all, there's cost of construction, cost of materials becoming high. There's some time when we wanted to buy cement last year, when we're doing some project, cement rose from 32,000 Uganda shillings to 45,000 Uganda shillings in just 4 days.
In a span of 4 days, it was
4
that
days.
high.
Yes.
And what was causing this price hike?
I think it was a problem from either, first of all, taxes and availability of cement. There was not enough cement in Uganda.
But we have factories here in Uganda.
Yeah, mention it. But the problem is, the cement wasn't available. I don't know how, but it wasn't available. Those who are having it, they are using it as a business. They get it, they keep it, and when the prices go high, they bring it out. And they get extraordinary profits.
Scarcity was there.
Yes, scarcity for cement and the bars, reinforcements.
Yeah.
So all those factors make construction quite expensive. The fees for construction, for example, now you need the professionals on the construction site. You need an architect who's registered, you need a quantity surveyor, you need a mechanical engineer.
All those people to make a commercial building?
Yes, you need an electrical engineer, you need a land surveyor. So there are quite a number of aspects of professions they're going to need on a given project.
This is why landlords are very tough when they're asking for their rent.
At times they even pluck out the doors, they remove them and go with them.
Yeah.
At times they go to the ceiling and remove the iron sheets and come to your house and say, please, where's my money? And you have to pay.
This is serious.
Yeah, that's how it is.
But if you say all this is involved, at the end of the day, that means by the time someone decides to actually construct, it means you have to be standing really well. Yes,
you need to be ready with money. You should be able to get a bank loan. And the funny thing, for constructors or the contractors, people who are constructing, we normally have documents which are making construction even harder. Because if you're constructing and the client runs short of money, you're supposed to officially communicate to the contractor and say, man,
need to stop.
I need to stop. But when I stop and I had a contract with you, you're going to pay me. Yes, you're going to pay me.
So if the contract is there and I was supposed to give you 10 million and
Yes.
this was supposed to take 3 months.
Yes.
So if the construction stops before the 3 months elapse, I'm still supposed to pay you the 10 million.
You're supposed to pay me as based to the contract. So whenever there's any breach of contract and I don't agree with it, there's going to be a problem between both of us.
When did contracts start with these people that help us with whatever? Because Uganda, we used to get these people around the village. You come, they do the bricks, they put up the house for you, and you're sleeping the next day.
The problem, those people actually are being used as we talk now because professionals are expensive.
Yes.
I say in quotes, expensive in quotes. Because
They are not expensive. Remove the quotes. They are expensive. It's the truth.
because they're getting value out of
Yes.
a professional. So by employing a professional, we assume that what we're going to get, don't even assume, but we are sure that what we're going to get is value for your money. But if you use we call them wanawinches or the fundis who are pretending to be engineers, and you bring him on your side, because he constructed a previous site or for your friend that you
feel like
know,
they can actually
you
do
say,
it.
even mine, you can come and work.
Yes.
But forgetting the other factors.
For long term.
Yes.
Yes.
For example, the ground might be different from the previous site. Yes. So the guy will come onto this site as an engineer in quotes, like you call them. He comes on your site, looks at the ground. He says, here we can pour some stones and you move on. I remember pouring some stones on the previous site and it worked. Unfortunately, when you reach on the third floor, the building begins to settle. Settling is when now it gets a farm ground. It wants to get a farm ground.
Yes.
And then you're going to find differences in settlement. You're going to find a crack in between your building. And you're going to wonder what's happening in my
These
building.
are the cracks we keep seeing in the buildings.
Exactly.
The ones with shops, yes.
Exactly. There are so many reasons that could cause the cracks, but also workmanship and lack of knowledge of engineering is also a key factor that can cause the cracks. And perhaps this guy, when he comes onto your site, is going to have to come with these people. Remember, he's the boss. He cannot employ an engineer. So himself is going to be the engineer. You understand? So he comes with people, they ask him, what should we do here? Then he says, let's move on here, let's do this. Not remembering that in the previous site, he had an engineer who was supervising his works.
Yes.
But now he's the engineer. So when he gets stranded somewhere, somehow, it's going to be having a problem on the project. And for your client, since it's cheap, he'll just keep injecting money. Lucky enough, if the project moves on well, it goes to the other project. And it's going to mess it up.
But when these buildings are being constructed, are there government officials who come and survey and make sure it is up to standard the way it's starting to the end? Or they just let it be?
Actually, all construction sites are monitored. They are monitored. So whenever a building is going to start, you have to get drawings. The drawings should be taken to authorities for approval to show that you've met all the minimum requirements of parking.
What if you don't have some requirements and you give the envelope there, then they let you go?
That's where the problem starts.
Yes.
That's where the problem starts. Okay, if you skip that step, maybe by mistake, I will say that. If you skip that step and you're successful, when you begin constructing, officials are going to come and inspect your building to see whether what you're constructing is planned for. Okay? They're going to keep moving on your site and check. Because if it's a storage building, there's a minimum capacity of let's say concrete that is required. We have to test the concrete in the laboratories.
Well, I'm going to put a pin in that the test of the concrete in laboratories. But of course, we are going to take a very short break. Do not change the channel. We will be right back.
Smart 24, driving business.
Luxury redefined at Seasan Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living fit for the royalty that you are. Step into comfort, pampering and blissful customer-centric service as you select from our range of comfy, exquisite living quarters furnished to meet with your royal preference. Surrounded by scenic beauty, our tropical setting allows you to escape the glamorous ordeal of city life. Our ambient green gardens will guide you to a place of revitalizing rest. The 3-star restaurant caters to your palate, serving your choice menu ranging from exotic cuisines to local delicacies. Our chefs will serve you full-course meals for a truly out-of-this-world culinary experience. Our fully stocked bar to whet your throat, from renowned global brand whisks, brandies, gins, beers and wines to our locally celebrated beverages, you will not lack for any brewage. It's an all-new experience in the East at Seasan Hotel. So visit today at plot 15 to 19 Spire Road, Ginger, or contact us on +256 751 719 960 and +256 785 354 614 for reservations. Seasan Hotels, luxury redefined.
This is Jordan. When it comes to classwork, Jordan is magic. Jordan shines. Jordan makes his peers better. Jordan is a true leader. White Star Magic family. Be a leader. Be magic.
Smart 24, driving business.
Welcome back from that short breather. Of course, you're still here on Smart Means Business, and of course, I'm still with Professor Francis, and he was telling us about construction, the procedures, and everything you have to do. But of course, as Ugandans, we always choose the easier way out, and we go for the people who are cheaper. And of course, if you pay money, you would get quality. But for us, we tend to prefer quantity. But of course, before the break, he was telling us when you're going to construct your building, they first take the concrete, they come and do the inspection. So he was telling us the concrete gets tested and then...
Okay, You see, that's why I'm not a professor, I'm a doctor. So, okay, you think professors, when they see this, they'll be like, he's a professor? Okay.
But you're getting there, so
maybe
you are.
Time, but
This is manifestation.
Okay. I take it.
Yes.
Okay. So I was still saying that concrete needs to be tested in the different classes. Because if you're going to put up a high-rise building, high-rise I mean more than, let's say, 7 floors, 10, 12, 20 floors, we use different types of concrete. So your concrete should be meeting the minimum requirements. There's no way you can use class 15 for a high-rise building. Those classes are categorized, class 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and maybe 40. So that is how the concrete is being mixed based on the cement quantities. So let's say 1 bag of cement, you add 2 similar proportions of sand and maybe 3 similar proportions or 4 similar proportions of aggregates of yinja. Yes. So those mixes are normally checked in the laboratories after 7 days, 28 days, to see where they are meeting the requirements that were specified during the planning of the building and during construction itself. So whenever you cast a slab, engineers have to come and inspect and check whether the mix is okay. Also, the same is taken to the laboratories to check on the strength, the minimum strength that is required for the concrete itself. Yes.
But most Ugandans, when you talk about concrete and putting a slab and obhinja, like you said, most Ugandans opt for bungalows. Yeah. Because they say flats are quite expensive to construct, and most of the buildings we see right now here in Kampala, we don't have these ones, what they usually call chuichimu, that are just on one line, but now they're doing flats and big buildings. So the people who are opting for these buildings, are they saving space because they say it's quite expensive? So how do they do it?
People who are constructing big buildings, obviously it's at times because of space, one. Two, it's because of comfort. Some people might prefer to be more comfortable at certain levels. When you get your money, you have to live on a posh house, yes, maybe with a swimming pool, having, let's say, 2 to 3 levels, and things like that. So it basically comes in with money as well, because when you're building a storage building, it's going to be much more expensive compared to a bungalow, because a bungalow, you're going to put your walls, you put your beam, then after that you're going to put your roof. Your roof is going to be not very much expensive as compared to somebody who's going to put a slab. When you put a slab, like we said, it comes in with the concrete itself, cement, that's cement. It comes in with the reinforcements, that's the mitaimbwa locally. And you're going to need the formwork to put the slab in shape. You're going to need the supports down there that are going to support the slab. So, and then you're going to need specialists. For example, you need carpenters.
Construction is expensive.
It's quite expensive.
Yes, it is.
Quite expensive. You're going to need steel benders. You're going to need supervisors. You're going to need machinery, a mixer. You're going to need aggregates, maguru kumi or something, or additional trucks of aggregates, and things like that. Rather than constructing a bungalow, you don't need a lot of things. Cement won't get a lot. So when you're constructing that, it's much easier, first of all. If you want to enter your house, you enter faster than a storage building. The reason why most storage buildings actually collapse is because these rich people tend to move fast, or faster than what is required.
Is there a time lag to build those storage buildings?
Yes, there's time lag.
Okay.
Otherwise, all rich men would be building 70 floors or 80 floors within a year. But because there's a time limit for each slab to either dry, because we cannot proceed or remove supports from a slab which has been cast recently, we call it a green slab. We do not need to remove the props, the supports, before, let's say, 28 days. Yes. Or even 1 extra week for beams, because this is going to help us to support the structure above. So it should be safe, strong. So you cannot proceed with other parts before this other part is dry, even if you have the money.
But we keep seeing buildings being constructed within a month or two, and it is like 6 or 8 floors.
No, those buildings, maybe if those buildings we're talking about are prefabricated, which is no longer allowed actually in Uganda. It's not allowed to use prefabrication. Prefabrication is using steel members. You get, let's say, I sections, you weld them together, you come up with a slab. So that slab moves faster because you're just welding. So you can move 2 or 3 levels. Okay, but it also comes with disadvantages. That's why at times in Uganda it was not considered because of their reasons. Maybe the strength is not proper. Okay.
And we have a lot of earthquakes. We have earthquakes in Uganda, yes.
Yes, the slabs contract and expand the steel itself. So you have to look at change in weather. when it is hot, what's going to happen? And cars cannot stand alone.
That you also need a professional for that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes. So we also see what are some of the innovative pricing models or revenue streams that architectures are exploring to adapt to infrastructures of real estate.
Now, architects, I can say architects and other professionals,
Yes,
adopting a number of models. One of them is cost plus percentage fee. So whenever you're constructing, you might have the cost of construction of materials itself. Let's say materials of, there are some clients who are going to ask you for materials, who are going to actually provide the materials. If they give you materials and then they add a given percentage on the cost of materials, let's say 20%. So the cost of the actual materials that has been obviously audited, because some contractors normally tend to hike the prices, because my cost is coming, my percentage of profit is coming on the cost of materials. So it makes the cost of materials very high. And if it's 20%, it's over 200 million, it's going to get like 20 million. And if it's over, let's say, of 300 million, it's getting more profit. So those models that are normally used in costing for those profits, based on cost of materials or cost of construction. Because there is cost of materials, there's cost of labor, the cost of machinery. So all those, if they're added together, then you add the profit at the later stage. So to hinder that, some clients tend to just have a limit, a ceiling, and say if the cost of materials is going to be 100 million, the extra cost for your profits will be 10 million without any basis. You say, I'm giving you my building, it's 2 floors. Irrespective of the cost of materials, I'm giving a profit of 20 million or 10 million. So it's upon you as a contractor or a consultant to take it. It could also be a cost of, in terms of profits for consultant. Because on the project we have 2 teams. We have a consultant and a contractor. So the consultant is in between there, linking between the client and the contractor. So that consultant also, his profits might be coming from the cost of construction itself. So to limit that thing of balancing the profits properly, not to cheat the client, you can have a fixed profit.
yes.
Or there's one which is very interesting. It's called a fluctuating fee.
Okay.
Cost
Which one
plus
is that?
fluctuating fee. So here you have actual costs of construction, and then you have a fluctuating fee. Let's say, for example, you construct a building at 100 million. Then the client tells you that in case my materials go less than 100 million, your profits are going to increase by 5%. In case my materials go high, maybe let's say up to 150 million, then your profits are going to reduce. Yes. So it's a win-win situation. You make sure that you balance the project. So there are some of the models that we can actually use. Yes, alongside obviously others, because depending also on the project, and you have design, build, and own. So the person is doing actually the designing, the same person is going to build, then it's going to give you the keys after building. So meaning everything is within the package.
So there are usually some packages that are given to clients.
Yes.
That is actually good for someone who is there watching and you actually want to construct. You need to make money,
Exactly.
like the doctor said here.
Exactly.
So if you look at the real estate of Uganda today, are we getting on an international level, or we are still lagging behind?
Actually, I think we are trying. We are trying to get there, because before we used to have buildings being designed by architects which were not so much creative. But now if you move around Kampala
the buildings
and the
are
suburbs,
quite interesting.
buildings are interesting. They are looking nice. Those days houses used to be like we called it Chuichim, one side.
Chuichim, yes.
First we call
you
them
find
lean.
shops in front and then someone is staying at the
exactly.
back. Yes.
With that lean-to roof, kind of roof.
Yes.
Or it is a hipped roof only. Mwambai, you do this side and that side, and we move on. But now we have flat roofs. Flat roofs. You don't see even the roof, but you simply see a nice design. So people actually have now gone to that kind of designs. A flat roof, you don't see the roof, but you simply look at a design as if there's no roof. That is modern construction as well. People are looking at houses which are sustainable, which are cost-friendly in terms of services, electricity, water, and things like that. People are looking at houses which have enough technology. You enter into a house, and the lights follow you. The lights keep on turning on and off as you walk.
I've actually seen toilets whereby we have them here in Uganda. I was quite shocked when you're stepping out of the toilet, it just flushes itself.
Exactly.
There is nowhere you can actually touch to flush.
Exactly.
So we are evolving as
we're evolving. Yeah, machine learning is helping us so much, and Internet of Things.
Yes.
You can go into a house and you find that everything is connected onto your phone. Yes, I know Elon Musk is coming up with some buildings which I think are costing around $10,000
for rent or to buy?
No, to buy.
Oh,
it's
I thought rent.
Prefabricated actually.
Okay.
You buy your house, you bring it on a trailer, they install it in 2 days or even 1 day, and then you pay the money, they move on. Your work is just to buy land.
That would actually be good.
Yes, but it comes with cost.
Yes.
And then the cost of investment. Yeah, how many people are hoping to invest into that? But construction is evolving in Uganda. We're trying to catch up with others. You've seen, apart from the roads, obviously, but the buildings at least people are trying to come up with nice designs.
Yes.
Yeah, they're trying to come up with nice designs. And also, internet itself is helping us.
The internet is helping.
Yes, these days we have cheaper internet. Before, when we were still younger, it was hard to access internet.
Very much.
Very hard.
We didn't even have phones.
Anyway.
Where would you get a phone? TV had a time limit whereby your parents would tell you, no, you only watch TV in the evening at 5. Or sometimes you had to wait for UBC News, and that is when the TV would be switched on.
Exactly.
Yes.
But now internet became a necessity. The way you could buy bread at home, or you could buy sugar, is that you should buy internet. It's on a monthly basis.
When you don't have internet, it's like you don't have your heart.
Exactly.
Yes.
So internet is everywhere. So I think the designs, some of them are evolving, but some others are still lagging behind. People should think about designing, coming up with designs which are more friendly with internet, which utilize internet a lot. Cameras are there. You can be at work, and you check who's at your home, how the maid is treating your child, who has entered your house using your phone. Yes, so we should go that way, I think.
We should go with that.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And of course, one more question before we actually conclude today.
Yes.
I really wanted to know, how long do architectures take in school?
Wow. Architects. Do you want to start from kindergarten?
No. When we talk about the university, because right now at the kindergarten, you ask a child, what do you want to be? The child will say, I want to be a model, I want to be a doctor.
Exactly.
Nobody knows from childhood they want to do that.
Yes. The conductor has money always in the hands. Yes. That's why the women say, I want to be a conductor. You ask her why. Because he has money. He has a lot of money. Because money is already available in his hands.
Wow.
So architects normally spend 5 years in school, in campus, trying to come up with the best. Quant surveyors spend 4 years in school, as well as civil engineers.
They are all different. These are all three different people.
Yes, maybe I didn't give you a brief. Okay, in construction, we have a number of professionals.
So you don't only need an architect to actually construct a house.
Exactly.
There are steps to actually being a landlord.
Yes. Before becoming a landlord,
you
need to know which people you're going to employ.
Okay.
You're going to employ many of us. Yes. You're going to need an architect. You're going to need a quantity surveyor. You're going to need a civil engineer. You're going to need a land surveyor. And each one works independently. However,
They don't come as a package.
Yes, they can come as a package.
You can find one who has done all these professionals in
No,
mind.
no, it's not common. It's not common.
Not?
But you can have a project manager who oversees all
Everything,
activities
yes.
of these others, who coordinates all of them. Because now a project manager, like myself, I'm a project manager as well. You can coordinate the works of an architect, coordinate it with the works of a quantity surveyor, coordinate the works with a civil engineer, land surveyor, and then all the other professionals who are involved, mechanical engineers. You know these plumbing things which are you see in the house?
Yes, the
sinks,
the
bathrooms.
There is someone else.
That is a specialist who is called a mechanical engineer. They fall under mechanical.
You people.
Anything concerning lifts, anything concerning escalators.
Coalescent. That is what I can say. Coalescent.
Yes.
Because
Electrician is also very important.
that one.
Yes.
Recently, we were doing a report here on Umeme, and they were saying to just connect your house
Yes.
to the pole that is outside. For you to actually have power in the house, you need more than 5 million, and this is quite a lot.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't
Is
heard
it
about
how
that.
it is? In the slums, most people don't have power because it's a lot of money to actually connect you.
Now, what I remember, Umeme, actually, they had some package that if you have an electric pole near you, they just bring a consumer unit, a consumer cable, that is the Solido, the consumer cable, connect to your house, and then you buy the meter, because the meter, actually you buy the meter, but the meter remains theirs. In case of any problem, they come and take
They
it.
just come and take it.
But you have to buy it anyway. So you pay for all those services as long as the pole is near your home. But in case you don't have a pole near your home, they're going to count the number of poles that are going to take you up to your home, and then you pay for those poles. If you're many, maybe you can combine and pay for those poles, and then to talk to Meme to come and connect you guys.
It's a process, of course, just like constructing of the house. But of course, before we finish the show, we have so many graduates right now who have just done many of these courses that you've mentioned, of the people you need to actually have your house constructed. I would like you to say a few words to them, for those ones who have just graduated, what they need to know and what they need to expect.
Yeah, like I've always told my students, I've taught in a number of universities.
Yes, you have.
Yes, I've taught in Indeja University, I've taught in Makerere University, I've taught in IUEA University, yes. And yes, those are the ones. So I would like to tell the fresh graduates, we've been celebrating, obviously, graduation parties around. Some of them I was invited, I attended and ate the cake. But what you should know is that when you have your first degree, you need a second one. In this day and era, there's a lot of competition. Yes, time is changing. Those days, getting an engineer was very hard.
Yes.
Getting a civil engineer. Me, I grew up, and from primary 2, when my dad used to ask me, what do you want to be in the future? Engineer, straight away. I didn't know that there's a civil engineer, electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, and so on. What I wanted is an engineer. So time has now changed. You can only have one engineer in the entire district, like it used to be before, but they are quite a number. What makes you stand out of the others is upgrading, having a master's. Now you can do a master's of construction management at Makerere, it's there. Or you can do a postgraduate diploma in construction project management. Still in Makerere, you have it. There's one in Chambogo University, there's one in Indeja, and there's one in UMI, Uganda Management Institute, also has those masters. So after finishing, obviously, please just proceed to masters, perhaps even PhDs, because it's not very hard.
Money for all this. They are rushing to get jobs and earn a living.
Yeah, I would recommend to first work at least 2 years, because you don't want to stress your parents. They've been paying you money from kindergarten, and
to the university.
they were saying, "Oh, my child has reached the university and now he has finished." He doesn't expect you to get money from him again. But if the parent is willing, some parents are willing, but incidentally the students are not willing to go back. You know how funny it is. The ones who have the money, don't want to study.
Yes.
The ones who don't have the money
They are
are the ones who
willing
want
to
to
go back.
study. So if your parents have money, just proceed. I think some requirements of masters require somebody to have worked for 2 years. If you have a second class and lower, second class lower degree, but like we said, construction is not easy, so you find some people haven't managed to perform well.
Yes.
Instead, for masters, you need to have performed well, at least to have had a second class upper degree to do masters. If you have second class lower, you can only do a postgraduate diploma in construction project management. But the beauty of it, after that diploma, you can actually do and go and upgrade and do a master's degree in the same field. So I would recommend them to go for further studies and also to specialize more, like civil engineers. If you've been working as a civil engineer, guys specialize maybe in roads, guys specialize in electricity, in water, guys specialize in railway, okay? Can specialize in structures, become a structural engineer by doing a master's, definitely. If you're a quantity surveyor, go and do project management, go and do an MBA. Some people are in auditing, go and enjoy that auditing field, and so on. If you're in land surveying, go and do GIS. Become
Well, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us that insight that we actually wanted to hear.
Yeah.
It was lovely having you in our studios. As for our viewers, thank you for being with us. And of course, we're coming to the top of the hour and we're ending the show here today for Monday. Go and be productive. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Smart 24